Okay. Well, 7 o'clock, so I'll open the zoning board of appeals for Thursday, September 25th, 2025. So thanks everyone for coming out. We have 2 items on the agenda tonight, and then the first item that we'll go through is just the minutes from the August 28th, 2025 meeting. Those were all sent out. Did anyone have any discussion or question on contents of those as sent out? We have a motion for those minutes and
Yes.
approval.
Motion to approve the minutes.
All right, second.
I'll second that.
All right,
Abstain.
all in favor of that?
Aye.
So the first one tonight is the Cottington area variance. So we'll have Tyler and Bonnie, you guys are both here, so if you would like to come up, can I have a motion to, actually, before you guys do that, the variance was published in the Sentinel, so it is a relief for a pre-existing non-conforming shed. But do we have a motion to open the public hearing for
I'll
that?
make motion.
Second,
Second.
all right, all in favor on that?
Aye.
Come on up. Tell us a little bit about what you're looking to do and a little bit more about.
I assume you guys all have all
Yes.
pictures and
Yep, yep.
everything, so
Yep.
we're hoping the picture speaks for itself. What's currently there is in pretty bad shape. It's on the property when we bought it, a few years ago when that big windstorm came through and took out many ponds. I think it started in our yard, took out a 100-year-old tree and the roof on that. We had it patched for a while. But then just this past winter, we had a tree dead ash come down onto it. So now it really needs to be replaced. We're looking to replace it with something that looks much better than that. There were some renderings from the, we're looking at getting it pre-made with big one thing and have it brought in, and we plan to have it match the house, and the windows would be the same brown as on the house and all that. So we think it'll look a lot better than what's there now. Because it is pre-made, they have some set sizes, so we're looking at the 24-foot, and that is, depending on where you measure it from, it's about, I remember 19, around 20, I think. So it's similar. We would also be putting a footprint of stone base down to put it on, which are currently it's not, we have a lot of problem with the trees growing right up through it and stuff like that. So we're gonna make that happen.
First question I had, and I know one of the items that you had listed is that there's electrical service
There's all
there.
electrical.
Is that live today? Yeah.
We have a shut off at the house, but it is runs out to there, which is one of the reasons that that's a place to put it.
I'd like to commend you coming before the board. Took me 3 times driving by you to see what's better.
Well, I wouldn't have, if you guys didn't tell me years ago when I called about getting it fixed, and they're like, well, you can fix it, but you can't change it without getting variance now, so that's one of the reasons it took so long for us to come to the variance.
I know, I was out there on Williams Road a bunch of times, redoing the road, and I thought, where is that building? Until I went up the driveway, I finally saw it. There's a lot of people that would have just knocked it down, put a new building in, but you're doing it the right way.
Yeah, big on people to do that, so.
I have to
Thank you,
commend
but-
you for that.
Yeah, but it does need to be replaced. I think the property looked a lot nicer, for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, that building. Have any idea when that was built?
Pretty sure shortly after the house was built, but the guy who, I don't know if you ever knew the name Floberg, was the one that built the house. It's a very unique house. It's a passive solar house, which is another reason we really can't go any outside property. The house is built into the side of a hill.
Right.
So we don't have a lot of room around the house. We think he did it. He was a canoe builder. One of the bedrooms in the house actually has a door that's hung longwise, so he could open it up to bring the wood in, the canoes out. It's a very, right into the garage. We think he built it, but why that shape, I don't know.
When it was new, it was a
Yes.
Exactly. And the new one, roughly 60 square foot bigger. They go from 12 foot 9 to 12 by 24.
Just to pick the options. This is where we want to be able to put the tractor in it for one.
Right.
Being the type of house we have, we don't have a basement or a usable attic. We have no storage other than the garage. The slab, so, lawnmower, snowblower and all that kind of stuff. Needs to be stored.
Maybe you mentioned it earlier and I apologize, but did you say that you match the roof with the existing, like that, the house roof? Is that the plan?
As best we can, yes, the, windows in particular, we have the aluminum, brown, so we chose the brown to go with it. Actually, we're really getting fancy, the window with the door has the 4 panels in it, we just put new garage doors in last year with the 4-panel window, so it's really gonna match.
Yeah.
Good, good, okay. Well, thank you for coming on and coming in, appreciate it. So, from the next step, we'll talk, and then we're gonna move to the Whitaker area variance, and then, we'll go back through and, talk about either taking action tonight or do any other questions, but
Okay, so to hang out.
you can hang out here, or you don't have to, but you can.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. They want a motion to close the public hearing, or do we want to keep it open, and do we have anyone online that? for
Nope.
comments?
Nope.
I'll second.
All in favor on that?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so the next one is the Paddington area variance. So. I'm sorry, Whitaker, I'm looking at the wrong paper, I apologize. So, yeah, so, again, this one was published in the Sentinel, so we can go to that, but, do we have a motion to open the public hearing on this one?
That's the motion to open the public hearing.
Second that.
All right. All in favor on that?
Aye.
You want to give us an overview of what you're looking to achieve?
Basically, we are requesting that a 10 by 14 running shed be placed in a pasture. And it falls, unfortunately, within the code, which seems to be the front of the house. And so we have reasons to justify our position. First of all, I have 2 confessions, and we just start out with the downside first.
Yeah, I don't even need.
I want it. All right, all right, yes. Couldn't make it to scale, otherwise I never fit. But anyway, if you look at the map, the distance between the right of way and the upper left-hand corner of the shed, I had down as 330 feet. That should be corrected to 225 feet. That was just my mathematical. 330 is more reflective of the entire distance from the corner of the
How many
house
times we've
to
measured.
to the road.
We
So
had guys with the golf find that we
hey,
measured.
sure.
She's,
This is National Daughters Day.
she
so
sounds
this
like
one-
5 years
this
ago.
one's-
That
this
was the
one's-
best I could tell you.
This one's for you, okay? So anyway, if you look on the map that was provided, the red line is the line that Corey drew for us when we applied for the first, just a permit for a run-in shed, which we did place, we're able to place in what I call the southern pasture. And it's behind that line. But so anyway, that line is there. So I think you can see that because of that corner of the house where it's positioned, and the fact that the house is so far back, 322.6 feet, it leaves us with this huge front lawn. Okay, now, if you kindly look at the aerial photo that I had provided, which was published on the Zillow site when we first, when we were purchasing the house. You can see that I'm comparing that and the map, the survey map, which by the way was printed in 2012. Which we accepted when we bought the house. So this is the latest map that we have. But since that time, there are a lot of trees that have matured, and there are a lot more trees on this map than there are on the survey map. Okay, so looking at the, again, the aerial view, you can kind of see that this is the only logical areas to put the pastures are this, as I've marked it, south pasture and the northeast pasture. The other areas, are just heavily wooded. It doesn't look quite like the forest that you have here, but I mean, there's open spaces, but it's not really suitable for pasture. There's apple trees, there's cherry trees and things like that. And the area by the barn, and you can see there's a great difference between that and the survey map, because there's kind of like an island of trees there, as you can see kind of in front of the barn. So it leaves us with a much smaller area as a possibility, as an alternative for a pasture, because we really have to keep the area in front of the barn open so we can get farm machinery out. We have gators and lawnmowers and things like that. We have a trailer we've been hauling regularly. We're one of your best brush customers.
Don't even know
They know us by their name by now. So anyway, in order to, get a trailer in there, turn around and so forth, so we need a lot of area there. So that leaves us with the areas that we marked out. We did get a permit successfully, and we had to erect pasture fencing. So we had that 2,100 feet of pasture fencing set up around the perimeter, and then we divided it through the center to create two different pastures. And there's a 12-foot farm gate between the two of them. And you can see where we put our little shed is that little mark above the gate there. Now. We then turn to the type of shed that we want to put in. The running shed, it's this one on the sheet. So it's a 10 by 14. It is made of LP Smartwood exterior, which is a wood and resin combination. So it should hold up and last longer than regular wood. Because of the way it's positioned on the map, it's facing the road, but the only thing you're really going to see from the road is the 2-foot sections. I mean, the vertical sections on either side of the opening. The back of the shed is completely lined with plywood. So looking at it from over 200 feet away from the road, you're probably not gonna, it's kind of blending in pretty well, and it's not gonna stand out. It's not even gonna be 14 foot of pewter colored siding. If you then just look at, this is a family photo here. This is who's going in the shed. But anyway, this is a photograph of the existing shed right now. And the new shed will be the same color combination. It's a pewter color. Our home is a white color with black shutters. This has a black, sort of hard to see on this, but anyway, it's a black architectural shingles on top. So I think it kind of really blends in well with the house. And obviously this shed is larger because it has a tack room attached to the end, and this one is much smaller yet. So in terms of the request for a variance, and how much we're over, it's really the footprint is very, very small. I think I figured it as 0.04 of an acre. And we feel that it doesn't detract at all from the house, from the front view.
We said it, the little house, it does that.
From the front rows of the house, okay, you can't really see. The shed is not directly in front of the windows in front of the house. Okay, it's set off right in one corner. And also you can see from the other photo here that the house is set up on a hill. So it drops down from the hill to where the shed is. So there again, like when we measured this out with a Bushnell golf rangefinder. And it was hard to almost see where down from the hill to see where the shed was. So we feel it's not really obstructing the view to or from the house. And we figure it's going to blend in quite well with the house. So why do we need a shed there? We would like to, we've been studying a lot on newbies at this. Lisa's the experienced horsewoman, but we've never had a farm with existing horses before. So we're studying Cornell and Rutgers and all these other, veterinary science things and trying to say, and all the recommendations are to rotate your pastures, to keep the horses on one pasture for a period of time. And then to be able to move them onto another pasture so they don't overgraze. And also, we're in a situation right now that when we first moved here, the pastures definitely did not look like this. And this is just natural grass, okay? They were pretty overrun with weeds and brush about knee high. And so the grass is not a very good quality. And right now, we're actually a little bit late in seeding, but we would like to be able to restrict the horses in that northeast pasture right now, so that we can seed the larger pasture, because that's the pasture that needs the most work in terms of the quality of the grass. And then that might be suitable by winter. So if we're going to restrict the horses to the northeast pasture, while we work on the other pasture, we really need to provide some sort of shelter for them. So rain, wind, hail, whatever Mother Nature here sends our way, they have adequate protections. The other thing is, if one of the horses gets sick or has to be restricted to an area somewhere, we'd like to have another building in order to do that. There is an existing barn on the building, but if you notice from the survey map that the barn doesn't meet the current code regarding the 100-foot.
Horses said, even though there's stalls in it.
There's
There's horses in it.
so we can't house them there, so it would be beneficial for us to have another place so we can keep a horse restricted to movement if they get injured or whatever in that second facility. So that's kind of. Oh, we're having a shed made also by Sheds by Fisher. They're the same person I said who made the sheds. They will construct it off-site and deliver it. It will be on a bed of crushed stone. And then we put stall mats over it and we'll come there.
Thank you. Thank you for the order.
You
guys have any questions on? No?
I have to say, I was really impressed how you left the grass tall
Oh,
out in the pasture,
did
so
you?
we could tell by the location of the shed.
But that's what
Yeah,
we
yeah,
had,
yeah.
like that, I mowed specifically,
Yeah.
but the horses ate it now. They were like, they one lays down and then he just like, come on. And that's what we had a little spot that time, so you could see it.
And when I pulled up, I said, I know exactly where the shed's going.
Yeah, that's what I
That's a
thought
very
we
good
could make
idea.
it easy for you.
Have you considered all coming in for variance for the other barn, the one that's too close?
Yes, in due time, but one thing at a time. It's a beautiful home. It's a beautiful charm and character and whole farmhouse. But it's a lot of work and there's been a lot of priorities from the water.
And it's pretty rough there, I mean, they have, I don't even know what they have. I just tore down my fence and I have Chardonnay in it and all of our equipment right now.
Yeah, Tom Adams signed with him when he owned the place. He didn't do a whole lot there. And just mowing the pastures out for the improvement.
It was pretty rough when we got there. It was a lot of, I didn't think it would be as good as it is now, actually. But the top field, I need to overhaul completely.
And I know that we bought it from Deborah Maloney. And I said, the nicest thing I think she could say is that she said, I get emotional when I say this, but she said, I think my dad would be smiling down from heaven now, looking at the property and knowing that we don't know why it's called Strawberry Hill, but we inherited the sign for it. I'd like to know the origin of that
Trying to
name,
make it nice.
but
Yeah, I'm glad you corrected the map. First time I looked at it, I thought, well, the house is set back 322 feet.
right.
They want the shed at 330, so
Yeah, no.
you're right in the middle of the house.
No, I don't know why, I'm sorry, I went over it so many times and I just missed that one completely, but anyway, we had to.
Yeah. It may be crashing.
Any conversations or interaction with neighbors for that?
No, we have, Lisa met the neighbors.
But that would fit the epicenter, of course, I mean, I'm over that. And then I met that other neighbor there, the neighbor, actually, their name is Wade.
Yeah, neighbors.
And who live in the house next to us. And they actually great shorts. She's they. She wants to come over and ride my horses. But, yeah,
To say what you have done, though, it is an improvement to the property.
Thank you.
we're working on it.
Any utilities plan to it?
No, no, there's no electric.
Yeah,
no water.
which is-
Any other types of animals that you play, or just horses?
No, 2 horses and 1 dog. That's the thing.
Good.
Thank you very much. Do you have anyone on that? All right. Thank you. We're gonna keep on rolling and we'll.
Thank you. I
wait a minute.
appreciate having the opportunity to present this to you.
Thank you. All right, do we have a motion to close the public hearing on this one?
Yes, motion closed, public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor on that?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So to go back to Cottington,
Yeah, motion to approve the Cottington area variance.
do we have a second on that one?
I'll second it.
Right. So what, do we have any other discussion before we go through it? Does anyone want to?
Good. Once it's finished, yeah.
All right, so what we'll do is I'll read through the draft, determination on this, with the motion by Paul and second by Tom. And we'll go through the 5 questions as we go through that. Okay. So Paul Marasco, right, Tom Voorhees of the area variance requested by Kyler and Bonnie Connington for property located at 425 Williams Road, tax ID number 203.02-3-11- or .141. Zoned RA5 to allow a new pre-built 12-foot by 24-foot storage shed to be constructed in place of and enlarging a prior non-conforming damaged 12-foot by 19-foot 2-inch storage shed, which is forward of the front setback of the principal structure. The motion is that it is granted, and then is based on the following. Whereas the town code enforcement officer has advised that the existing shed is a prior non-conforming use, as it was constructed prior to the adoption of the existing code. And whereas town code section 260-21 prohibits non-conforming structures from being enlarged unless the enlargement would result in a greater conformity with town code, which the proposed new structure would not. 260-8C7 prohibits accessory structures forward of the minimum front yard setback for the principal building, and section 260-8C10 prohibits accessory structures from being located in a front yard. And whereas the above property owner appeared before the zoning board of appeals in public hearing on their application on September 25th, 2025. And whereas this application was sent to the zoning board of appeals attorney and the town code enforcement officer for review. And whereas this application was sent to Monroe County Planning Board for review pursuant to General Municipal Law 239-M, and the application was returned as a local matter with comments. And whereas the zoning board of appeals held a public hearing, and the public was given the opportunity to comment on the application. Now therefore be it resolved that this application constitutes a type 2 action under SECRA and no further environmental review is required. And be it further resolved that the zoning board of appeals has weighed the effects of the requested variance against the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood and community. And the motion hereby is grants the requested variance based on the following findings. So we'll go through the 5 questions for this. So my ask is for anyone that's proposing a answer this to provide the supplemental context as to the why. Okay, cool. Requested benefit can or cannot be achieved by other feasible means.
It's limited in that the power already exists at the this location, and that the property terrain limits the other locations.
Any other discussion on that one?
I'll do that.
Right. The request is or is not substantial.
I would say it's not.
Agreement with that?
Agree.
Um,
Due to the small amount of enlargement to this and shed.
Variance requesting more, small variance requesting more enlargement. The request will or will not have an undesirable change in the neighborhood because
Will not, that it's actually improving a pre-existing structure that was. needed improvement.
I would also add that it's not visible at all.
True. Agreed.
The request will or will not have an adverse effect on the physical and or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district.
Will not, I'd say will not, because it's basically the same.
Same
as
footprint.
it is.
It's a replacement. Difficulty is or is not self-created. Because my I'm a little bit torn, I would say, because there's a element that it was damaged from an existing property. It is their desire to for going back to the actual variance itself to extend and expand it. So that is, I would just say it is based on that, but otherwise we're replacing it because of the impact of trees and weather and stuff. Do we want to add any conditions for this one? They've already answered the fact that they're doing the same color siding as the house, same window style, same. They answered all the types of conditions that we would have typically gone through and discussed them, and so.
I would say no.
Okay. Right. All right, so we'll do a roll call vote on that. So all in favor of the determination as I just read through, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. So that is approved. You can work with Brooke on it to be able to get the permit and all that stuff to move forward. There we go. Congratulations. All right. So we have the Whitaker area variance.
Motion to approve the liquor area variance.
Second that.
Right. Do we want to any discussion on that before we go through that one? No. Okay. All right, so I'll do the same thing I did on the last one. So from Ms. Palmer has been moved, seconded by Jeffrey Johnson, that the area variance requested by Janet Whitaker for property located at 3248 Rush Mountain Road, tax ID number 215.01-1-37.1, zone RA-1, to allow a 10-foot by 14-foot running shed to be constructed forward to the front setback of the principal structure. And in the front yard of the principal structure as depicted in the application document. The motion is granted based on the following. Whereas section 260-8C7 prohibits accessory structures forward to the minimum front yard setback for the principal building. And section 260-8C10 prohibits accessory structures from being located in the front yard. And whereas the above property owners appeared before the zoning board of appeals in the public hearing on the application September 25th, 2025. Whereas the application was sent to the zoning board of appeals attorney and the town code enforcement officer for review. And whereas this application was sent to the Monroe County Planning Board for review pursuant to general municipal law 239-M, and the application was returned as a local matter of comments. And whereas the ZBA held a public hearing and the public was given the opportunity to comment on the application. Now therefore be it resolved that this application constitutes a type 2 action under FECRA and no further environmental review is required. And be it further resolved that the ZBA has weighed the effects of the variance against the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood and community, and hereby the motion is grant the requested variance based on the following findings. The requested benefit can or cannot be achieved by other feasible means.
I would say no. Due to the wood lot,
Cannot
the distance the home is set off the road.
agree with that.
the request is or is not substantial.
Would say it's not. Based on the small footprint,
You say the lot,
yeah.
I can agree. My thought process on that was because it was over 30, so it's effectively. Third of the distance of the principal structure, but. I can appreciate that. It is far back in relation to the overall size of the lot itself,
Mhm.
so.
I'm typing it right now, Chris.
All right, thank you. The request will or will not have an undesirable change in the neighborhood because.
Will not, because I believe that the structure is appropriate for the usage where it's being placed. You know, and it's a very minimal footprint.
There are, I believe, from what I count, there are 4 properties within like direct adjacency that have running sheds. Yes, direct visible view from the road, so there's plenty around. Fine. The request will or will not have an adverse effect on the physical and or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district. I propose that it will not. The same answer is 3 and
Based on the small footprint.
I was also thinking of adding the fact that they're using crushed gravel for drainage. It's really not going to impede any impact of the feel of the property. The difficulty is or is not self-created. Most of these are,
I would say.
so
I'd
it's,
say it is.
so. I would say this one is because it's their desire to construct the. Yes. Frontage shed. Do we have any conditions that we want to add on this one?
we want to know the applicant corrected the front setback. And what was submitted.
Applicant, right, the front setback.
What is that setback?
The applicant correct, on their map, they
Yeah.
submitted the front setback for the shed.
What is the front
Driveway.
setback?
They had 330 and it's 225.
I was going to propose that we have the same condition, so the other running shed is, I believe you said pewter, correct? It's like a pewter color.
Yes,
Yeah.
exact same color.
Same
That
color.
would match the existing
Yeah.
permitted shed. for that. Any other conditions? So we'll take a roll call vote on that. So all in favor of the determination as read, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So likewise, you can work with to get the permit through Cory and. go from there. All right, do we have any general discussion for the rest of the board or?
Any public comment?
There's no one on.
All right. Do we have any upcoming meeting information? Just the 20?
We have 2 on
10/23.
for October 23rd, and then we also have received an application that's been deemed incomplete, but I am expecting to receive it prior to October 9th. So we might be getting that one on for November 13th. If you guys could just let me know if you'll be here for November 13th. Be nice to have our phone present.
I did look at my calendar this time
Pretty
before I
good.
showed up.
Pretty good.
All right, we don't have anything else with a motion to adjourn, motion to adjourn,
No second.
right, all in favor of that?
Aye.